Good evening, dear friends, and a very warm welcome to everyone joining us tonight. It is a great joy to be here with you this evening with Charles and Rubens. The three of us are hosting Spiritual Light, while our dear friend Stevan Bertozzo is traveling holidays. We wish him a safe journey and look forward to welcoming him back soon. Whether you are a regular participant or join us for the first time, we are delighted to have you with us. If you are new to our channel, please make yourself at home. We hope you will enjoy our discussion and become part of our growing community. Please feel free to share this live stream with your family and friends. The more people who join us, the richer our conversation becomes. Tonight, with Charles and Rubens, we begin a new series of reflections for the month of July with a fundamental question. Today, purpose and meaning. Why are we here? This is one of the oldest and most important questions humanity have ever asked. Why I am here? Where I come from? Where I am going? How can I become a better and happier person? What is the purpose of my life? The Spiritist philosophy offers profound reflections on these questions. It invites us to think for ourselves, to seek understanding, and to grow through knowledge, experience, and personal responsibility. Rather than giving ready made answers, it encourages us to reflect, to learn, and to discover our own path. We would love to hear your thoughts during the program. So please share your comments and questions in the chat. If you enjoy our work, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and help us share these reflections with others. So, let us begin this journey together as we explore one of life's greatest questions. Why are we here? Welcome, everyone. And I'd like Charles and Rubens say their greetings to you. Charles, you?
Yes, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Indeed, very happy to be here. It's a period of life where we don't ask too many questions, but sooner or later comes a moment where we ask us these fundamental existential questions. And today we will just try to give you some hints to find answer to them.
Rubens, you please.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here once again. I love this project, the Spiritual Light, make me feel so happy. Thank you for the invitation, and then I hope that's going to have a good time together. It's a pleasure.
So, I'd like uh, to say a few words, but of course, we are here to discuss this topic that is purpose and meaning. Why we are here. So I know that you are thinking about, and don't be shy. Write your questions, write your comments, your thoughts, even your language, Portuguese or Italian, that I spoke with two friends today. You can write there. We can see how it's going. But questions are made to be answered. And as I have our guest tonight, Rubens, I will ask Rubens first, and Charles can comment as well after Rubens. Rubens, the communications received through Chico Xavier, particularly from the Spirit Manual, are amongst the widely read Spiritist texts in the world. What does Emmanuel add to Kardec's original teaching, or why we are here? On why we
Wow,
are here. Yeah.
why we're here. Yeah. Yeah. All the time when you talk about this Chico Xavier, bring a lot of light to our life. This is a very important question because when you think about Emmanuel, the Chico Xavier mentor, Emmanuel brings to Allan Kardec, together to Allan Kardec's the teaching by offering uh, a meaning, a perspective, a focus more on the inner renewal. That's always when I'm look at this question, I'm thinking about the inner renewal. And of course, the work for the good, how that we can be a good person in this world. But if you get very deep to this question, we have to think about why Kardec established the logical and philosophical foundation of spiritualism. Emmanuel focused on the practice. The practice. This is so good. It's amazing. Emmanuel, he's focusing how in the daily application of the gospel of Jesus, how we use the gospel of Jesus in our daily life. This is um, as I say, bring a lot of life, but at the same time emphasize the education of the mind and heart. Because all the time when we talk about spiritualism, it's important to go and part, but our thing, how that we feel is very important. And this question, why we are here in this world? What the kind of mission that we have? Uh, why we born exactly in this place, in the body that we have? Is even though sounds a very simple question, but actually it's very beautiful and very strong question to understand why we are here, why I'm this person that I am right now. The reason for us to be here in this world is in this moment, specific in this moment that we are now, has a big and special meaning for everybody. We have a meaning in life, you know. When Kardec presented the doctrine of reincarnation to us, Emmanuel personalized this, personalized with our feeling, our thinking that we have inside of our heart. This is very good. Emmanuel as well addressed the reader of the individual spirits, for example, which is specific trajectory. I have my past way, my way of life. Charlie has his own self. Elsa, all of us has a specific debts, of course, with a specific gifts as well, because life is a debit and a gift. This is so of course, as well, when I talk about, I ask to myself many times why I'm here. In many books, for example, if you bring Emmanuel as a reference, Emmanuel repeatedly returned to the idea that purpose is always found in a service. We are here to serve, to bring the best thing that we have in life to us, of course, and to the other that spirit who cannot identify the mission should begin by serving someone, by serving whoever is in front of us. For example, with our family, we have relationship to being together to show who we are. Emmanuel explained in this point as well in a beautiful way. Many books wrote by um, Chico explained that we are created that our souls. We create our souls. Everything begin in the mind. What I'm thinking can be materialized, and of course, our will and control the force that can can how can I say determining our destiny. What I'm gonna do tomorrow is in my toe. I can make my life better for tomorrow. This is so wonderful to believe on that. It's so good to focus on myself, on my thoughts, and but the other people. The primary reason for our presence he is active charity. I'm gonna be a good person. I'm gonna be a nice person if I make everything good for me and charity to the other. This is so. We have so many good examples in this spirit environment of why we are here. You know, where most of us forget to follow the real example of Jesus. If we follow the right example of Jesus, for example, work, 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 most of the spirit centers at the moment in the whole world only focus on the academic part. We have so many beautiful influencers, speakers in the spiritual centers. On the social media is a very, very common now with a million followers. It's so beautiful, but it needs action of work. Everything that I'm saying, I'm showing to the people, it needs the action of being child in the real. word of church, to find the real reason, to find the better reason why I am here, why we are here.
Great, Rubinho. Wonderful. And Charles, I'm sure that Charles will add something very good.
Yeah, I mean, indeed, Emmanuel brought a lot of illustrations, I would say, practical cases, even telling his story, how he evolved, how he progressed through several incarnations, from Publius Lentulus, which was a quite proud and selfish senator in the Roman age, and when he met Jesus in person, and he's today Emmanuel, the mentor of Chico Xavier. So it's showing us, yes, we can progress. We are progressing. And you see, 2 millenniums is quite short. It's a second in front of the eternity, is enough to evolve as Emmanuel evolved. I mean, it gives us a kind of a timeline, and this is quite interesting. But of course,
Mm.
Emmanuel sometimes is talking a lot about Jesus, about the gospel, because it's his culture throughout these different incarnations. But it has to be seen as the non-exclusive. What is absolutely important is the universal moral laws from which uh, Christianity and the gospel is one example, and Jesus gave an admirable exemplification of these moral laws. So, of course, but it does not mean exclusiveness. Spiritism is open to these universal moral laws and whatever the religion. Now, of course, Kardec brought a lot of basics, particular of what we are. Huh? Are we just a physical body from the birth to the tomb, governed by biochemical reactions in our brain? Or is there something more in us? So that's a big, uh, how to say, added values that Kardec brought, showing that, demonstrating through the facts and through the communications and proof of identity, and that we have a soul, that this soul existed before our birth, that it will survive with our individuality, our personality after passing away, returning to the spiritual world, as we say, and uh, explaining also why we are here. It means what is the purpose of the incarnation. And the purpose
Mm.
of the incarnation of this current life is enabling our soul to progress and fostering through our will the progress of our soul. So this is the basics, I would say, brought by Kardec. But of course, it's a little bit theoretical. And Emmanuel, but not only Emmanuel, André Louise, and many others through Chico Xavier brought a lot of practical examples, particular cases where we can recognize ourselves and find stronger motivation to foster, to work on our betterment, on our moral evolution, the moral evolution for soul. Because, of course, when we are following the materialist paradigm, okay, we have only if we have only one life, uh, we will make use out of it at maximum during the life, and we have a trend to forget the essential in us, which is our soul. We are in a material world, so we need our physical body has material needs food, protection, clothes, needs uh, education, and all these things, of course, need some material means. But we have never to forget that our physical body and this material mean are just a mean whose ultimate goal is the evolution of our soul. So, putting all our efforts on the material life and forgetting the soul is not a good deal, is not a good attitude, because we just forget what is essential in us.
Very nice indeed. These two comments about these questions. Number one, and it's always important because sometimes people say, "I don't know what I'm doing here in this life. I don't have a purpose of life." I said, "Yes, you have. You have to discover, not to stay stop doing what you are doing and stay waiting for the discovery coming up from abroad. No, you have to start working, put your effort to do your goodness towards your working, your works with people, whatever you are working. If you really like the work that you are doing, the purpose of your life is there. I like to write, for example. I write everything that I can in drawings, etc. And this is my purpose of life. With my drawings, my books, my etc., I am doing something good for others. So that we can discover everyone has a purpose of life. No one is living here without this purpose because we need to evolve. Yeah? Let's do a second question because people right here have to read. The Spirit's book, Charles, I will start with you now, distinguishes between spirits who incarnate primarily for expiation, for mission, or for trial. How do these categories work in practice? And can a single incarnation serve multiple purposes simultaneously? Always a very great
Yeah,
question.
there are several questions in one here. So
Yes.
I will try not to forget the different items of the question.
Mhm.
Yes, so as I just told, the purpose of our lives, the purpose of our incarnation is the evolution of our spirit, of our soul. Huh? And there are, of course, many different situations. Huh? Every case is a case, you know. Some people, uh, they have already reached a certain level of evolution, so they can come with a kind of a mission to in science, in arts, in knowledge, in whatever aspect, in philosophy or come with a mission in order to help humanity to progress or to understand the spiritual world and the spiritual life, for instance. So these are the incarnations of missions. Generally, the spirits who come with such missions are spirits which have already certain degree of progress. And some others, let's say more average case, we have already some knowledge, we have already some qualities, but we also have some uh, things which are not so good, some aspects which are in character or whatever, which are not so good. And we also have done in the past things which also are not so good and that needs to be repaired. And so in this case, the incarnation is generally planned in the spiritual world. We make a balance of what we did in the past lives, where we are, what we expect, what is the program for this life in terms of progress, in terms of to repair things we have done bad or redo things we have failed to do or whatever. So different items of progress. Um, and all this is then somehow planned with as per our free will. We have the free will to make this planning, of course, with the advices of the mentors that we follow more or less, that we go quicker or slower. So this answers to your question. Uh, plan to solve a lot of problems in one life, or plan to solve the problems one by one. Because if you want to do too much at the end, maybe we do not succeed, and we even can do wrong. If we put a level of difficulty which is too high, we can fail, and by failing, uh, we generate other problems that we have to solve in next lives. So everything is a question of balance. But even with the advice of the mentor, generally we are free to decide all these aspects and the level of difficulty. Okay. There are also some other cases, for instance, spirits which are in a deep trouble or which are in the first incarnation. They do not have yet enough capacity to select by themselves and to define by themselves the program of their life. So, in such cases, the program is decided by the mentors in order to help the spirit in the best way to progress. So, as you can see, there are many, many cases. So, the question is always, what did I plan for my life? Huh?
Yeah.
I don't remember the plan in detail, and it would even be more difficult to know in detail all what we have planned and so on. But once it is planned, you have a kind of intuition or inspiration that makes you feel at the right moments. Also, with interaction with a mentor who is always following us during our whole life, we have the intuition of doing things, of also meeting some persons, of and this is coming from the program we have done from our past life. I will give an example for myself. For instance, I had an illness some 10 years ago, and for me, it was clear that this illness, a cancer, was programmed by myself. I agreed to have this. And when the diagnostic came, it by intuition, it came to us. You see, it was programmed. Now it's here. So let's face it. Let's fix it. And you see, it was 10 years ago. I'm still here. Everything went well. And okay, but it was some step which was necessary in my life and which brought me a lot of things and helped me a lot to progress, to see the things with a different point of view, to remove a little bit the blinds that we have tendency to put ourselves in the daily material life, stressy environments, heavy work and so on, to stop sometimes a little bit because of an illness allows you to think a lot. And the same happened, for instance, during COVID. A lot of people had the opportunity to stop. Hey, hold on. Let's think about, is this really what I want in my life? And then the intuition comes from this program and helps us to make decisions. And as we could see during the pandemic, a lot of people made decisions and changed their life to a better life. And this is generally happening in the moments of difficulty or the moments of adversity. So I really encourage when we have such situation of adversity, let's find, let's make use of it, positive use of the adversity. What is this illness or this trial or this drawback or whatever willing to teach me, to tell me, or to remember me? And when we think about this, when we elevate our thoughts with prayers and asking our help for our spiritual mentor during sleep at night and different moments, for sure the answers will come, and this will leave us with our free will to decide to do or not to do, but we will have a better appreciation of what is exactly the point in time where we are in this program we have defined for our life.
Charles, very nice that you comment about yourself, giving an example that you overcame your difficulty or your challenge, your trial, with wisely thoughts, because you have the foundation of Spiritist philosophy, or as you said, body of knowledge that give us the instructions and the clarification why we are here, why I'm suffering. Otherwise, we always blame God. We always tenorize our sufferings. I'm suffering because you did this, you did that. So when you acknowledge that there are my own inverted comma debts from the past that I'm adjusting now and make my life going on, as these illnesses are the antibiotics for our souls that are ill. And this is great. All of us, when you have trials, if you think that God is merciful, there is no victims in the universe. Everyone has our own eh, way to do our good, our best life or best existence, or make a mess with our existence. What do you think, Rubinho, about this question?
I think it's very good. That's right. The Charlie's example is very good. Can you hear me properly? Because I can see some delay. Okay, that's good. No, the Charlie's example is the most properly and good example. But we have to add something very important. For example, this planet, the Earth that we are merely live right now, is not a place for trials expiation only. It's a school of evolution where every experience serves to define and refine our spirit. This is so good because all of us has a reincarnation plan for good or for bad or for something. Of course, it did renew as well that material life is a plan before we come to this world, before we birth. We chose a specific challenge to make everything that we're going to pass here, the good, the bad, the errors, to cultivate virtues and something good. But Kardec, in this Spiritist book, was so how can I say precise, because he brought to us a very nice and good category. For example, the expiation. The expiation, when you think very deeply to this patient, especially a person who, for example, had a cancer and think that is a bad thing to do. It's not, because the expiation work as well as a past moral debt. If I have a past moral debt, for example, in my life, it's good that something's happening to me to put things in the line. This is so amazing. But just because our level of reincarnation, sometimes you cannot understand in this way, And for example, the trios, when you face what's happened, the circumstance in our life that for the specific moral qualities. All of us has a moral problem. We have to develop our moral point in this reincarnation very much. That's why we are in this world at this moment. But sometimes we cannot understand the mission, why we are here. And the mission that why we are here is, as a Kardec saying in the spiritual book, is a task of service that bring to the others and to the collective. I develop myself in an individual way, but I need my group of friends, I need my group of family, I need my spiritual group to develop as well myself, my mission. I by myself alone, I cannot develop my mission because I need the people around me to bring me to the specific situation. And of course, this is bring the spiritism is so good to when you talk about this because the expiation sometimes what's going to happen again when people become sick, when we become sick, especially in a cancer example, we have to understand very deep. The expiation is the best thing to put you again in the line of understand the purpose of life, how life is so beautiful when you become something's happen to that you think is going to hurt you, is going to make you feel some pain, but for tomorrow, for the next reincarnation, going to bring love and goods for the rest of your life.
Very nice indeed, Rubinho. You close with the key of gold key. So, Charles, I was thinking here about what Stevan left for us to homework to do. Yeah, what does Spiritism say about spirits who appear to have entirely wasted their incarnation. People who caused harm, died in moral degradation, or seem to have learned nothing. Is the incarnation simply lost, or stagnated, or retrograde?
It's a good question as well.
Mm.
No, it's not completely lost because, how to say, we are not perfect. Perfect is only God, isn't it? So if we have imperfections, we do mistakes and we do wrongs. This happens to all of us. Huh? And this is exactly how to say uh, by through the incarnation. That is the real test, the real life test, if we can say so. Huh? And there you see whether you are already uh, how to say the qualities and the knowledge are strong enough in you to enable you to put them in practice or not, or if we still are doing mistakes, and these mistakes you are doing are learning you to know better where your weak points are and enabling you to work on this weak point in order not to repeat the same mistakes, even knowing that it's not just like this. I mean, a lot of times we repeat mistakes. We say, "Oh, I thought about this. I should not have done that, and so on." And I did it again. And all of a sudden comes the day, "Oops, I was about to do this, but I managed not to do it." And then maybe next time you still do it again, but little by little you progress. And this is exactly the work of our moral evolution and intellectual evolution. So, of course, the spirits, and we, even in this life, or the more we go back in the past life, the less evolved we were. Of course, we did a lot of mistakes. We had life like the one you described, Elsa, in your example. But one thing is sure, the spirit who has, as you have given in the example, will progress, and little by little, sooner or later, will become better, learn from the mistakes, learn from the idleness during his life, and all these things, maybe suffer the consequences of them, having a deep regret, not having done what we could have done and whatsoever. And this is helping us for next life to be a little bit more active, to avoid repeating the same mistakes, even if we can repeat them. That is just why we can see also that one life is not enough to go from simple and ignorant low evolution to a high evolution. So at every incarnation, we progress little by little. We can stay stationary, but we never regress. The progress is always positive or nil. And the example you gave, for sure, will progress. And this gives us also a different view on all these humans nowadays who are doing a lot of wrong things. We know that they will not be condemned to hell for eternity. We know that they will progress sooner or later. So this change also our mind. He's in hell now. Okay, we are relieved from him. No, he will reincarnate as well. And our interest is to bring our best thoughts in order to help him in this betterment, in order to try to awake a little bit his conscience, so that even in this life, which is difficult for him, he still can start thinking about and who knows also changing. So the purpose, we are here to progress ourselves and also to help all our fellows or the others to progress as well.
Yes, very great that you
Yeah.
mentioned this situation that not entirely lost, because we can see who is. I don't have here the book Heaven and Hell. For me, book Heaven and Hell, the second part of this book,
Mhm.
is curious. If you are a curious person, you should read it. Because all the cases is like that you are in a theater and someone is playing the role that in different situations. We can see this work in Kardec's work in Heaven and Hell, how these spirits communicating from the place that they were invoked or not, they show themselves the way that they died, why they died in this situation, why they use their lives when incarnated, why how much they are suffering, etc., etc. They can make comments. They adjust their lives at this moment when they acknowledge that they lost a lot of time in the existence. They could progress more, progress less, doing nothing, or even doing bad things, as we say here, died in moral degradation. But for God's sake, everyone has the purpose in life, and one now, sooner or later, they will discover, even after death, what I have done with my existence. Oh my God, I want to go back quickly and redo everything again. Of course, in different situation, in different family, in different social situation, etc. But everyone has the purpose to return and redo again. What do you think, Rubin, about this question? The entirely waste their
Is this
incarnation or not, etc.
Yes, it's the same point because in our spirit house and all the spiritist movement, we always have someone who come to the same question. Oh, I know someone was very bad, was very mad. He had a big problem and he died. It is the incarnation was lost, his life just because he was a bad person. And as you say, of course, no incarnation is entirely lost. And then when you come to this point specific, always I'm going to, in my mind, going to the learning through pain. Now, the pain, when we learn something through the pain, even though in for us, when you look at the person that is suffering, we said, oh my God, why this person is suffering a lot? All the people, especially the people who doesn't not believe in spiritualism or whatever. They always think that, oh, I'm suffering because I have done something wrong. But we spiritists, we know that we learn it through the pain. You know, when a spirit commit me some problems, some errors, some difficult things in life, it's registering our own conscience along with the law of uh, cause and effect. Because everything that I'm doing in my life is registering my conscience in my mind. So this marked the beginning of the process when we learn it through the pain. Because uh, um, I have so many examples. Actually, this happened some months ago. A lady came to me and said, I cannot believe in spiritualism because I got the impression that everybody who's died with cancer, for example, she'll say that it because it was a bad person in his life. And then this is so very basic, to understand. Of course not. The problem to have it is difficult moments of disease, for example, in the case of cancer, is learning to the pain. Always is like that. It's so the reincarnation never ever is entirely lost. We always learn something, always bring something to. If you're not gonna have the gifts right now in this life that we're living right now, but we're gonna have it the next one in the future. This is the most beautiful way to believe, to understand. I love that. To be honest, that's why I love Kardec. The codification books is so good. So let's continue.
Thank you, Rubinho. Nossa, the time is flying so quickly. See, 20 to 9 already. So, okay.
Uh,
Charles, the last question now for us to reflect is about that Spiritism teaches that we choose our incarnation between our existences. Given the severity of some lives, extreme poverty, early death, persecution, illnesses, why would a spirit voluntarily choose such conditions? Why would someone choose to come and be without legs, for
Yeah,
example?
it's also a good and quite difficult question, no?
Yes.
You know, there can be two reasons for that. For instance, in terms of illnesses, it can be in one life a reaction of some abuse we committed in a past life. For instance, you have a lot of people, they are smoking, but they die quite old. But nevertheless, such attitude is harming our spiritual body, the spirit. And this can then, in the next life, bring some difficulties in breathing or whatever, even if the person don't smoke in the next life anymore. It's one example. Other examples are cases of suicide who also can uh, be transmitted from one life to the other. And by the way, this has been put in evidence by Ian Stevenson. He has the cases of reincarnation. He has found and make a study comparing some birthmarks with the ones who the person had in the past life and from which this person died in the past life. So this is just showing how some consequences from the past life can come to the present life. So this is a kind of a natural law, sometimes independent of our will, because our free will cannot go against the natural law. But then you ask the question, why should a person select a program to have a very miserable life and whatsoever? Again, we see it from our earthly eyes. And if we see it from the spiritual eyes, our reasoning is changing somehow. You know, when a person has done very bad things, for instance, kill someone or have abuse of children or whatsoever, this is a very, very heavy weight on the conscience. And also, there is this law of action and reaction. Who will do such that this person in the last life will somehow suffer from the consequences of what this person did. And it's not an automatic thing. You kill someone and you will be killed, or you abuse from a child, you will be abused as a child. It's not automatic like this. But it happens quite frequently that we suffer in ourselves what we have made the others suffer. And this, the feeling, so this is called so-called atonement, expiation, is helping us to change our mind and to take the strong decision, never ever do that again in this or in the future lives, you know. And again, we can give some examples. I remember having seen at the TV report done in a very poor country in Africa. I don't know, remember yet what this country was, where we could see two young childs, one who was, let's say, something like a year old, and it was a boy, and a girl which was something like 2 or 3 years old. And the girl was helping her little brother, who was really in awful situation. I mean, not enough food, no water. He was just lying in the sand, you know, very, very miserable conditions and difficult expectations in that life. And it was so shocking that I asked me exactly the question you asked,
Yeah.
Elsa. And the inspiration came even through a spiritual message who said, this young boy suffering this was in the past life one of the murderers in a concentration camp during WW2, you know. And this type of situation helps us to understand why someone who has done very severe wrong things is sometimes led to take very hard decisions, radical decisions, in order to change the mindset and never ever start again the same severe wrongs, you know. So it's just an example, but there can be many, many others. And seen from our earthly eyes, it's very difficult to understand because life very short, only 2 to 3 years, did not have the time to do anything wrong to suffer all this. But when we see it from the spiritual eyes, from the reincarnation aspect, that when we die, in fact, we return to the spiritual world. The point of view is completely changing. And as I said, the reasoning is also changing. And it enables us to understand much better this type of situation.
Wonderful, Charles. Now I'd like to listen the last moment de Rubinho now. What do you think, Rubinho, again? Rubinho, listen me?
I think I do now. I had a problem my microphone here, but I
Uh,
think I'm back now.
would you like to
Yeah,
comment?
yeah, the last comment. Okay. Again, this question is bring you to very deep to because all of us have why all the spirits voluntarily chose such condition, or why people that very problematic life. I think the main reason for this choice is include very different points. One of the the most important is acceleration of the progress. Why that's why the past why in that condition chose that such conditions. I think that the moral point is one of the most important. And the second one, an expiation reparation. We know that we have to uh, some expiation to do in this. For example, painful situation. Back again to the example as a diseases and problem in our material body. Painful situations help the spirit balance in a error condition between the cause and effect. And of course, always this pain offer a chance to make a good situation for the wrong path that I have in my life. And one of the most good as well to understand that I pay particular, I'm very fan of this mission, our mission that we have here in this life. You know, there's a painful that problem that I have in my life now is a mission. We always has this question of more involved in a kind of choice, for example, because did I born in choice to have this so suffering life in this, for example, the kind of poverty, you know, I'm very poor, I don't have a job, or I have a problem, the illness, what, whatever. And then again, we end up in a perspective of free from everything that we bring to our life. For example, in the spiritual the doctrine that we believe at, and the spiritual learning, for example, we're not suffering. It's not suffering in no punishment in our life, but is a way to understand the necessity of pain for inner to become strong, our inner inside of us. That made again and again, making me so happy. And then I'm a very fan of this point because all the time that I'm thinking this way of, oh, my mission, I have some problem, or maybe in the future I'm going to have some disease that I'm not, I'm going to have some problem. But always I'm thinking that, oh, this is going to make myself strong for the future. The cure, the healing that I'm going to have now in my life is it doesn't matter if it's going to be today. The problem, the situation going to bring the healing for the future. That's making me so relaxed, so feeling down, feeling good.
Yeah, very interesting. I was reading these days something regarding 2 centuries ago, where kids, so the families, there's a lot of kids in order to help in farms, etc. But the kids don't died very, very young. It was a problem with medicine and medication, etc. and the kids didn't support all the illnesses and died very young. Of course, it was a time that a lot of incarnation come and go, come and go, come and go. And nowadays, we can see the families, they reduce it at least one or two maximum, or three maximum kids. Né? And the narrow of the window to reincarnate is getting narrow and narrow, the way to incarnate. So, and then we need, because we have a lot of people from the past that needs to incarnate, reincarnate again, in order to have their inverted comma trials, attunements, in order to evolve. That is the law. No one go from one point to another without going step by step towards the evolution, the evolvement. But what I was thinking is about why kids die so young, because there are people who still don't understand. And actually, today I received a call from a friend that had her daughter faint during walking because it's too hot as well. But she took her to the hospital. It's cardiac problem, heart problem. So young and have to do the operation quickly now, and the family are devastated. They are devastated. They cannot accept why a 5 years old girl has this problem in the heart. They discovered it by a faint in the street. It's too hot, but it's not because the weather. It was because really about something physically here in the heart. And the family are asking prayer, but they tercerize. I want to see the little girl give her healing as she's in hospital, etc. But the family are a little bit not non-religious people. They don't want to be involved, but they want to be helped through prayers from other people because the father doesn't accept nothing about God, etc. This is the situation very difficult for the family, maybe good for the little girl that is incarnated. We don't know how this will be developing, but it's something very painful in the family because just the one daughter, one granddaughter for both sides. So they take care of this little girl as a precious treasure that should be. But imagine if something happened, if this little girl died. The entire family, three families, the parents, the two sides, grandparents will be devastated. But only through spiritism is the only through spiritism we can understand this law, divine laws that we are following our pathway to evolve through our own work, our own free will, our own decision that we must really take care about our decisions. Yeah?
So
Yes, that.
interesting is we have a lot of examples. For instance, you have a young child who dies, or this child who was in this miserable situation, or whatever. Uh, when after dying, the spirit can come and communicate and tell us why it has chosen this trial and what did this help in his evolution. And again, you cited the book Heaven and Hell, second part. There are
Yes,
several examples, several
mhm.
tens of examples of the Spirit saying us uh, why they made some such type of decision, why they were blind or whatever, and what this helped them into progressing. So through this practical example, it helps us a lot to understand better these very difficult and harmful situations
Maybe try for the parents, try for the grandparents, or try
as
for the
well.
entire clan of family. But for sure, God is merciful and justice. That is the point. But the ones that accept it or not, this divinity that they are creating everything is another matter. But our matter here now is to focus to say thank you for our friends that are with us. Estonia, I think it's Olga, Hipólito, Rebolo, Joana Moreira, my friend from Brazil. Joana, thank you so much for being with us. And Rubinho, would you like to say your final words because we are going to do our announcements now?
Sure. Yeah. The good thing to understand is in this that we have the spiritist doctrine. In the spiritist doctrine, it's understood that involve the soul returning to teach. Then we're gonna back to teach to learn. This demonstration that acknowledge that it not, how can I say, it not, we're not gonna lose something, but we will expand ours over time. For example, if you take as the first question at the beginning about Emmanuel and Chico Xavier, Emmanuel, the Chico Xavier spiritual mentor, teach that thought is ours for progress. That's so amazing. Everything that we're doing begin to from our mind. Thoughts create our destination, destiny, our attract similar energy. That's so good. So why we are here? That's the basic, the first question. We're here to be happy, to love each other, to do our best, because the next reincarnation is going to be better and better and better.
And never judge.
Exactly.
That is my flag.
Yeah.
Okay, little ones. My friends, we are going now to have our announcements. I hope I can manage here. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Let's see where I have to touch here to move the slide. I don't
On
know.
top of this slide, no, Elsa?
I have to move the slide, but okay, I move you with okay, I move it
Mhm.
here.
Right
Announcement.
arrow,
Can you
yes.
see the? Can you
Yes.
see?
Yeah,
Yes,
Is
yes,
okay?
yes.
Okay.
yeah.
We have now next week one life, many existence. That will be very good talk, very good topic. Okay, I invite you all to be with us on 12th of July. I hope you can be with me and support me with your good thoughts because I will bring stories that I live it with Marlene Nobre. Okay, for so many years, my life with Marlene is our series this year, Marlene Nobre. A talk with by a young lady, Giovanna Alves, how to talk about spiritism in a way that engages young people. I hope you all be with this Giovanna, 16 years old, but is a mind of someone that lived many lives in a wise way. Congress in October, Portugal, 28 to 30. Overcoming the pains of the soul, the path of mental health. I hope you can support this congress and go there. It will be very nice. Our gathering in Vegemont, Belgium, near Liège, 9 European Spiritist gathering. We have a talk there. Charles have a talk there. There are people from London going there, and I hope you from Europe, that is easier, come there, be with us. So, Rubinho,
Elsa, the registration is open already, huh, for the
Yes,
event.
next week I will put the registration here, Charles, that I forgot
Yes.
today. That is in the website of Vegemont. If you type in we can put now. If you type there, we can put now in the live. Okay. Studies that you left through the end. Media's book every Saturday 10:30 online as well. The passcode and the numbers here. Genesis book every Wednesday today. I already uploaded our our class today. And the Spiritist magazine is wonderful. I have my tribute to John T. Duncan in this number. You can read my article. And we have in London spiritual healing with Eliane Gonçalves, medium, more than 30 years, working in partnership as a two apostles with Dr. Fritz. And I had the opportunity to talk with them. It's amazing when you see the lady as it is, and you see when she is receiving Dr. Fritz is amazing. It's very a nice phenomena. Is this coming Friday and Saturday? Also, thank you, our cooperators, BAS, Allan Kardec, Le Mouvement Spirit Francophone, Life Spiritist Society, and Irish Spiritist Federation. So now I have to close and stop sharing. I'm learning slowly. Thank you all for being with us, and God bless you all, us all, in our evolution, and try to be a better person every day. one step, little step by little, we will get there. We can cross the Sahara Desert slowly, one by one. It's not easy, but that is the life. Thank you all. God bless you all. See you next week. Okay? Bye bye.
Bless.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.